First of all, I'd like to welcome and thank everyone for attending our webinar today. We look forward to providing you with some good insights to help with your technology investments and helping really drive business outcomes. So in terms of just a brief introduction, if you haven't heard of ResultsPositive, we've been helping organizations over the last 16 years really get value out of their technology investments. So really focusing on business outcomes and helping organizations optimize their technology investments and really kind of driving that ongoing business results. And a lot of that has to do with our approach for implementation around organizational adoption as part of our consulting and advisory services. Also, we do a lot of application development for organizations to help them with the right size solutions, to help them get the visibility that they need. And that's some of the things we'll be highlighting today. We found that's a key input here into driving adoption, which is then ultimately driving performance, which is then driving positive results. So welcome, and glad to have you attending our webinar today. I wanted to kind of first start off with some implementation success factors here. Wanted to highlight some out-of-the-box capabilities here from a ServiceNow perspective. Show some tailored dashboard examples, and then look at our PMOView pre-configured solution. So I'll be going through various slides today, as well as actually demoing in the product. Then we'll have question and answers and common next steps at the end of our session today. So thanks so much for attending, and I'm going to jump right in. So one thing that I wanted to kind of lead off with here is that as an advisor to our customers, we want to make sure that they are able to receive the value that they expect from their technology investments. And so part of our guiding principles with an implementation or just the creation of a new solution is to make sure that you can use the foundational capabilities, focus on common best practices, don't over-engineer, don't make things too complex. At the same time, make sure that you can use metrics and results to drive overall and ongoing enhancements for adoption. From a critical success factors perspective, the couple things here I wanted to highlight is items number 3 and number 4. So we really focus on making sure that some key performance metrics are implemented, also that those are visible to the right stakeholders. So if you can get those visible to your executive stakeholders, or even to stakeholders that don't necessarily have quote unquote access to the system, that can really drive your business outcomes and your adoption. And then number 4, being able to baseline those metrics over time. And the reason I wanted to focus on those key items, since our webinar today is focused around the dashboard reports and report portals. And so those are the 2 key areas here that are really important. Also, we do see organizations feeling that they need to implement the solution first and then do reporting. But what we found is for those organizations to be most successful is to really focus on those metrics and reports, especially to provide that visibility to executive as well as external stakeholders in different business units or different departments. Basically, what that does then is it rewards the individuals that are putting the data in the system in very nice visual representation to the key stakeholders. And then the stakeholders want to consume that information, which then helps facilitate and increase that overall adoption and kind of increase that closed loop process. So a couple of key things there. Also, we typically always lead with how can you utilize your current technology you purchased. So not necessarily saying that you need to always have a tailored, configured or custom reporting solution. We definitely guide our customers into using the core foundational solution components first. So as a result of that, I wanted to kind of just highlight here some of the core foundational solutions that you're provided here with ServiceNow. And so here's the Alignment Planner Workspace. So this is meant for executives, meant for portfolio managers that are doing strategic planning. And this gives you an opportunity to create an overall roadmap and view that overall roadmap. So it's a very new solution that's just been released the last couple of releases. And so it's very well received by customers, and we highly recommend it. The one question we always get from customers is, can I print out, can I export the information? And currently you cannot. So just wanted to highlight that. And that's definitely a reason for some of our configured solutions. Next here is the PMO dashboard with the performance analytics. So one thing I think that ServiceNow has done a really good job here is around performance analytics. So you can start to looking at trending information. So you're trending your in operational performance in the traditional service management space. In this space here, really trending your PMO project performance and looking at that trend over time. Very beneficial, very powerful for executives, management, as well as a project manager to see how their results are translating into the performance of the organization. So great visualizations here. We typically make updates here, but this can be used out of the box. This is an out of the box overall dashboard. The performance analytics give you that trending information. It's going to do that snapshot. You can actually configure and set up your own indicators and set up your own different report widgets on the different pages. The one thing here, the common question we get here again is, can we print that out? Can we export that? And that's not available. But it's great for day-to-day operations and going into managing your work. Next here, a great solution here to help you with your scenario planning is the portfolio planning workbench. So this allows you to look at multiple different scenarios and get view into your roadmap, as well as get view into your high-level financials. You can also get a view into your resources and your resource utilization from a group perspective. So it gives you a good visualization there as you're doing scenario planning and determining what projects to invest in. So good capability there. Here again, we get a lot of those questions around reporting. Unfortunately, can't provide that with the current solution. Next is a program reporting here. And this is with the program roadmap. So with the program workbench, you're able to get a view into your program roadmap. You can also get a view into your overall costs, as well as resource plan versus actuals. So some good visualization here for program managers. You can get an export here of a graphical file just of the roadmap or Gantt view. So that is available for those of you looking from a reporting perspective. Next here is looking at role-based dashboards. So we do a lot of role-based dashboards as part of our implementations. And so this is where you can set up role-based dashboards that can be a common published dashboard, or you could have individual users set up their own dashboard. So here's an example here of a resource manager dashboard. So just kind of want to highlight that as an example. These role-based dashboards need to be configured, but you would configure those using the out-of-the-box report widgets and capabilities there. And next here is looking at the resource allocation workbench. So this is a very powerful tool here. We recommend that our customers and our resource managers use this about 90% of the time. Not only can they use this to analyze resource requests and make allocation decisions, but they can also use the resource finder here to look at their whole entire team. They can have a heat map here of overall availability. They can also look at all the different allocations for all the different projects. So great real-time online visibility here as part of the resource allocation workbench. If you're looking to report that out, it's not available here, but they do have some resource reporting functions for ad hoc reporting. And here's an example of one of those here in the resource report. So here in the resource reports, you can select what type of report you want to generate. In this case, looking at the allocations summary here, selecting a role or a group, and that's going to kind of show you this overall forecast here. You can export out like a PNG file here for the actual graph. So you can export that out just from that graphic perspective. And next here, when we look at it from a project status perspective, we highly recommend, and most customers use the project workspace as a landing page for their project managers. So it gives them that high level visibility into their projects that they're managing, the high level status, where they are in the overall project lifecycle, as well as then looking into any missed milestones, any recent updates as part of your project controls. So nice real-time online visibility there. Again, it gives you a snapshot of what's going on with your project. And so from there, you can drill in to your actual project. And next here's looking at the status reports. So in ServiceNow, you can create a status report, which is great. And you can create those and you can go back and look at your previous status reports from previous weeks. So that's also available. As you can see here, you can also print a status report. You can actually save it to a PDF as well. So those are good capabilities. As you can see here in this layout, limited graphics, limited right sizing of a 1 or 2 pager, and really not available for a PowerPoint export. So those are different things that we offer as part of our solutions for customers around project status reporting. But we definitely wanted to highlight, and we always start with the core foundational solution so that you can get value out of your investments. What I wanted to do next here is just go in and show you just a little bit here in the system of some of those core solutions. So next here, I'm just going into one of our ServiceNow environments, and here we can see the PMO dashboard. One thing you'll notice here that's not out of the box is here is a demand summary. So out of the box, it starts off with project summary and the pipeline. But here's an example of how you can create another dashboard page. You can add in some common widgets. You can add in some performance analytic widgets here. So you could kind of track that overall demand summary here. Here you can see the actual project summary in here as well. So this is really out of the box here. So you can view that information. So that's available. And then here's gives you that overall historical trending information based upon those snapshots. So you can then drill into that. You can view the overall trending information. So that's also available. Not sure what just happened there. I'll come back out of that. Next one here, go over to the project health. So this is a powerful solution here. You can look at a lot of your core set of KPIs, projects on time, projects over budget, so you can track that. What's also nice is you can see here, we can roll it up or roll it down. In this case, we're looking at a specific portfolio. If not, I can look across the whole enterprise from that perspective, or I could come back down in here to look at a specific portfolio. So you can kind of see the global performance as well as then drill down into individual performance. So that's a nice set of capabilities here as part of the performance analytics. I also mentioned here how you could come in and have various role-based dashboards. So here's an example here of having some role-based dashboards. So these are dashboards that you would need to configure, but you'd use the out-of-the-box capabilities to do that. Some customers really also enjoy the visual task boards that you can set up in ServiceNow, and you can also then share those here in an actual dashboard. So you could actually use that for a demand review board meeting and look at all the demands that have been brought in as a draft, and you can assess those here. You can look at the details associated with those particular items, and then you can assign them. You can move them to another phase as you're managing that intake process. So some good capabilities here that you can also set up as part of your different dashboards. So that was just kind of a brief overview that I wanted to share there, leveraging the core investment that you probably already made and highlighting some of those out-of-the-box dashboards around the PMO dashboard, and then showing you some of the configured dashboards there. So next, what I want to do here is to go in and show you some of our tailored solutions that we've done for various organizations. And so these are various tailored solutions. We're using the core capabilities of ServiceNow to build these. So these are built upon ServiceNow technology. And so that way it's upgradable. But at the same time, you can get visibility and you can calculate various metrics and measures without really any limitations, as well as then this is where we can also provide the ability to export that data into an actual printout, into a PDF, also into a PowerPoint. So this here is looking at it from a work management perspective, kind of combining and converging what you're doing on an operational side to manage overall service management in the organization, combined with what you're doing to manage projects, and kind of being able to see from a group or department level what's the level of work that your team is working on. And next here, I have a couple of different what we call business technology dashboards, and this is converging business value outcomes. Here again, you need to tie into that business value or business system to pull in those metrics, but it's also then supported by the technology metrics. So it's a great way of technology organizations to highlight their understanding of the business, provide value to the business. And what we found is then the business starts to invest in more technology solutions. So a great way to demonstrate your capabilities and understanding the business. Here's another example here of looking at orders and shipments, at the same time highlighting the service desk and service delivery and availability, the supporting those systems, which is keeping those orders and shipments on track and on time. Here's another example here of a business technology dashboard. So really powerful here, focusing on the business outcomes. And next here, we're showing a few tailored solutions for organizations, really PMO organizations, looking at managing their project investments, looking at managing their overall project delivery, and their delivery towards various business outcomes. So this is another example of really what you can do with these is we can really paint any picture that you're trying to portray based upon your different stakeholders. Typically, these are for executives or external stakeholders to your department. And so what we can do here is we can set that up, and we can then provide you the print, the save to PDF, the export, if you need to, say to PowerPoint as an example. Next, here's another example, just different flavors that we've done for different organizations based upon their needs and their requirements. So here's another one kind of looking at those proposed project proposals and a way to assess those to get overall approval. Next here for organizations kind of wanting a more deep dive into project financials, looking at some variance reporting and such that's included down below here. So as well as then providing that reporting capability. And so typically why we end up tailoring and creating these solutions is because the customer is looking for a couple of different things. And so that's why we recommend these solutions to meet those requirements. One being they want to share it with external stakeholders that might not have licensing. One is they want to get a nice report or export here into PowerPoint. Or third, maybe they need to calculate some metrics based upon the core data that's not available. So those are three common reasons why we recommend and build these various tailored solutions for customers. And next here is resource forecast and availability. So this is very powerful. We've actually received a lot of unsolicited feedback from our customers. They use this as part of their annual planning. They're going in and putting in their project proposals and putting in their resource estimates. They come back here and they look and they can see what their resource demand is. They can see their overall capacity at a glance, and it lets them know immediately if they have a shortage of resources. So a great way to have that visibility as well as to be able to share that report. And next here, we do a lot around various tailored program status reporting as well as project. So this is an example here looking at a 2-page program status report, looking at all the different health of the different projects, then looking at the overall program roadmap. Here again, giving you that ability to not only visualize it here online, but be able to print it as a complete report. So those are some examples there of your program status. Also, we've done many different business case reports. So this is a way to format those business cases similar to the way you're doing it today in a Word document, but actually having it here in the system. So you don't need the Word documents or don't need attachments anymore. And you can then format them in a way that they're easily consumed and readable to executives as they're making those investment decisions. Next, many different variations of projects task reports. There are definitely some commonality that you'll see, and that's kind of what's included in our pre-configured solution called PMOView. But what we'll see here is just some different examples of different types of status reports. This one here is really focusing on key decisions, making sure that those are visible, key decisions that need to be made, as well as really tracking common milestones. So this is an example where they have a set of common milestones across all projects. Definitely recommend that as a best practice, being able to track that performance. So here's just kind of a larger view of that, and be able to really focus in on those key decisions and those milestones. And it's a right size right here, right size for a one pager. It doesn't go, it's not a run on. And here we can print this out and save it to PDF. Next, here's just another type of a status report for innovation initiatives. So you might have part of your organization that's really focusing on innovation and research and development, and you're trying to identify new products and services. And so you might have an innovation framework associated with that. And so that's an example here. So here, really kind of a cool thing here is what's the speed here of actually piloting that new technology or that new innovation, looking at it here from an overall impact perspective and looking at the overall financials of investing in this type of a solution ongoing, as well as then having the second page here to focus more on just overall status. So really kind of the sky's the limit on what you would like to accomplish here when it comes to your various program or project status reporting. Here's just another example here. This one's more focused on different types of views here, looking at resources that are allocated versus your financials. Here again, right sizing on a one pager. Here's another example. This one's really focusing on some of your outcomes, your core KPIs. So I think this is a good example of looking at some of your core business case, those key business outcomes or KPIs you're trying to accomplish, as well as then kind of looking at some of your spend versus plan spend. So you have that in front and center. So as well as in being able to manage your escalations as appropriate. So those are some examples. We have many other examples of tailored solutions for customers, and it's really helping them provide that visibility and helping to drive overall adoption, but also really drive more business outcomes through improved value delivery. Next, I wanted to kind of introduce you to a PMOView. And this is a packaged solution here as part of our different offerings. And so these are pre-configured solutions that we can install for you. We can also tailor them as well. But these are interactive report portals using the ServiceNow technology. Gives you access to analytics and roadmaps. You can then export this to PDF or to PowerPoint. So really kind of addresses a lot of the requests we have from customers, as well as you could share it with external stakeholders. So that's one of the other key items here as well. So just as some high-level highlights here around the pre-configured solution. So we have really some pre-configured portals, report analytics, really providing that executive level of report. So the professional shading and the overall reporting there, using overall graphics, doing things similar to our tailored or custom solutions as well. And really what we have included here is an overall portfolio report portal and roadmap. We have business case reports, program status reports, as well as project status reports. Here again, we're all focusing on outcomes. So how can we really reward everyone for putting the data in? How can we provide the executives the data that they need in the format that they would like so that they can easily make better decisions? And then as a result of that, we're going to be able to increase overall performance. So why did we build these? It's similar to why we kind of create those tailored solutions. Really, executives have been asking us, can we get the visibility that is appropriate for them? Can external stakeholders get visibility as well? And so also, can they have the opportunity to extract that information in a readable format, such as a PDF or PowerPoint, but that basically mimics that report. So the combination of being able to provide that visibility, as well as being able to provide that ability to drill in, as well as be able to download the information, two key features and functions of our solutions. As an example here, this is looking at our portfolio portal and roadmap. So this is an opportunity here to select various filters, see an overall portfolio roadmap of your demands and projects. Next, here's an example of our program status report. This is a 2-page program status report. So you can create those and have that printed, as well as you can have that to PowerPoint. Same thing here from a project status report perspective. We've got the 1-pager and 2-pager status reports as well. So I'll be going in here in just a second and providing a demonstration. Here's kind of a larger view of the overall project status report. So pretty common, pretty standard set of capabilities here. So it's very easy to install and set up, but we can also tailor it as well. So what I want to do next here is go in and provide some demonstration here of our solution. There we go. So we'll come back to that. So let me come over here into our solution here. Back in. So I'm going to come over here to a project. And those of you that are familiar with ServiceNow, I'm actually here into the project workspace, and I'm over here into the status report section. And so I'm here. It looks just like it's part of a core system using the core ServiceNow capabilities. And so if I wanted to, right, I could come in here and create new or copy. So I could come in here and say I wanted to copy the overall status report. I could come in here and add in additional information in here, make updates to this, just like you would on a normal kind of standard status report. At this point here, I'm just going to hit save here or submit. I'm going to submit that, and it's going to create me an updated version of the status report. Also, right, the issues and risks come from the issues and risks that the PM gets to control whether or not they're displayed. Same thing with the milestones here, same thing with the roadmap. So they get to kind of pick and choose what they want to share. And then if we want to come over here to look at from a print perspective, we can come over here and we could a 1-page print, read-only PowerPoints, really what we recommend. You can do editable, but we really recommend the read-only. That way you're reinforcing everyone to use the system to actually perform their project status reports. So I could come in here and look at the print option, which also gives you the chance to save it here as a PDF. So you can see here it's right-sized here as a 1-pager. And so you can have that printed out here as a 1-page overall status report. Next here, we could come in here if we wanted to and say we wanted to do that as a PowerPoint. So we can extract that as a PowerPoint and go in and view the actual PowerPoint here. So we would see the PowerPoint here for the actual project status report. So great capability here that you can have and be able to report your overall status reports. We also have a standalone project status portal. From there, you can actually go in and look at your individual project status reports, but you could also go in there and do a bulk print of many status reports across multiple projects. So that's also available. So that's what I wanted to kind of show here from an overall project status report perspective. It's just standard in the system here, and a look and feel gives the type of visibility that executives and stakeholders are looking for. And next here, if we want to come over and look at the program status report. So similar here, this one's a 2-page example. So this is the program status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. So this is the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabilities here in the system. So we could come in here and look at the project status report. And it's here using the core capabili You can see here, I can come over here and look at the different overall program status reports. So I can look at that here. I could go in here and I create a new one if I want. So I can create a new one here as well. I could submit that. In that case, I didn't really submit any comments there. So my comments would be blank there, but I could always go back to my previous status report just to see the information there in the program status report, as well as then I've got my overall roadmap. Same thing here from a print perspective. I can come in and print. I can do my read-only PowerPoint. So I can have that visibility here and be able to extract that data here into the program status report. Next, here's kind of more of the portfolio portal. So the portfolio portal here is definitely used for executives, definitely used for external stakeholders. And so this gives you visibility here. So we have some core roll-up information here about the overall portfolio. Here we've got a roadmap of your demands and projects here. So you can see that information here. You can actually then come over here and look at the demand details, kind of those demand listing, a little bit more information. Same thing here from a project perspective as well. What's also nice here, and this is you can actually drill into the links and go to the business case, or you could drill into and actually go to the actual status report. So it gives you that type of visibility that you can share with your stakeholders as well. And then the same thing here, you can still got the overall export capabilities here, where you can print as well as export here to PDF. So that's kind of a brief demonstration there of the solutions there as part of our PMO solution. So let me go back to the actual presentation here. And we'll go back here into, so always the question is, well, what are your PMO packages? What do they include? So we have different packages. We have the demand package, which is the demand portal with business case. We showed you some examples of business cases. Next, here's the project. So you get the project status portal. You would get 1- and 2-page project status reports, as well as the demand report portal. Next, you'd have the program. Here, you'd be able to get your program status portal or program status reports. It would include your project status reports and demand. And then enterprise, you would get the portfolio report portal and the other portals as well. And so you get these pre-packaged, pre-configured solutions here as part of those packages. So always the question is, so how much does it cost? And what are the options there? So from a purchasing of those solutions, so it's a one-time cost here to purchase those solutions. If you'd like, you can sign up for some annual maintenance and support. That way we can support and maintain that solution for you, assist in what might be needed from an upgrade perspective. But we have many customers that don't have annual support. They're able to still just upgrade the solution. But if you wanted to use some of this support for potentially from tailoring, that is another example of how to use the maintenance and support. You might require some upfront tailoring as part of the implementation. So we just have some estimates here. So kind of some estimate ranges here that you might need if you want to do some tailoring. And then you can kind of see some totals here. Optionally, if you wanted to look at some additional training, so you could do some training materials and such there as well, but not required. Most organizations don't need the training because everything's kind of pretty self-explanatory. So that just kind of answers the questions on the pricing and kind of the different approaches there. In terms of a timeline perspective, right, from an installation perspective, right, it can be installed in a day, or it can be installed in a matter of hours. So we have scoped applications as well as update sets that will be installed for those different packages. And so we always like to focus on outcomes. And so one of the core examples here from a customer business case perspective, having that visibility, giving it to executives, giving it to stakeholders really does drive overall performance, because the organization knows that the data they're putting in the system, that's what's being reviewed. It's not being massaged. It's not going through multiple versions of PowerPoint decks to get to report the quote unquote right story. It's really focused on where we are today. And so it gives visibility. It helps executives and leaders to have the information they need to make decisions, right? To help overcome any roadblocks that you might have on various projects. That's going to drive overall performance. Adoption is really one of the key items here. Executives are going to get the visibility that they need. They're going to champion the solution. They're going to champion it with their stakeholders and the business community. So that's going to be key. At the same time, while they're doing that and the employees are seeing their usage, that's going to ensure adoption. I myself, in actually managing organizations and providing this type of visibility, we first rolled it out. The first couple of times we'd have our executive steering committees and our various committee meetings. Things were being updated an hour ahead of time, but over time things were updated more frequently. But it was just really powerful in having it up to date so we can make the right decisions. And that way it really reinforces that adoption. And then this definitely drives some cost savings here for your ongoing reporting. Also significant cost savings here at avoiding the need for, many different versions of PowerPoint decks and creating those to get those out to executives. They can go online and get access to the information and or create those PowerPoints or bulk PowerPoint presentations. So what we found here is a common next steps. So organizations like to schedule a deep dive on the PMOView demo, see if that's a fit for them, and or see if there's some tailoring that they might want to use to get access to that type of visibility for project managers, program managers, executives, stakeholders. Others decide that this is definitely something they want to do and they want to focus on a tailored solution. And so we can schedule a reporting requirement session. From there, we'll actually create a design for you, a graphical design, and then provide you with an actual quote to do that. Number 3 here, it's kind of our bread and butter here for organizations, helping them with implementation, advisory, assessment, or just ongoing managed services. So if you're needing assistance there, definitely we can assist you in discussions on how we can help. And then 4th here is looking at, you might have some additional training needs. We have our implementation roadmap workshops, very popular, and we're able to help organizations create a roadmap within 4 hours using our various templates, walking them through various inputs. Those roadmap sessions are public sessions, but we've also done those just for one specific organization. Those are very beneficial because you're getting a lot of dialogue across different team members. And so you can have a more tailored roadmap at the end of that workshop, as well as when we have our core product training around PPM and resource management. So those are some of the common next steps. So we wanted to thank everyone for attending our webinar today.